Okay, so that was an 8 beat set that I designed, and I'll go over how I did the drums. Due to the limitations of space, as far as the pads would go, in a general sense, the way that beat makers use this machine is to make one beat at a time, and the reason why I would create a set is so that I don't have to load a beat and then wait and then load another one. So the way this MPC works is it runs on random access memory. So what that means is when you turn on the machine, it has no sound in it. So you would have to put sound in, and when you turn it off, that sound is erased or gone unless you have it saved to disk. So due to the nature of how the MPC works based on memory, what I would do is I would create a set where I would only have to load it one time, and so I don't have to, so there's no downtime. Like if it's just me doing a showcase like this, I can play music without stopping or loading. So based on the limitations in space, what I did was I tried to create a complete beat as much as possible by managing the space on the pads. So what I did was I combined certain sounds, like the drums, for instance. I created a section. It's a technique that I like to call sectioning that I learned from my friends that got me started on the MPC. And so this would be the first section of drums that starts with the kick, and the second section that starts with the snare. And I have those, I created a mute group between those two, and they're cutting off each other. So this cuts off the snare section, and vice versa. So you can, it allows you some creativity as far as you know, programming drums, so you can alternate between the two. And that's how I structured it for 8 beats. So this is the drums of the second beat. And the drums of this third beat is a little different, where the section is just a kick. And I have the hi-hats layered behind the snares. If that makes any sense, where it allows me a little more flexibility with the kick, like I guess based on quantization. Sorry if that might be a little confusing. So, but for this kind of drum section, you would have to keep the snare going. For example, and then, so I did that for 8 beats. And the rest of the samples I would do sectioning with the samples as well. And different chops. Yeah, I just created my own map, and let me get into some bass lines. So if you can imagine, like, due to the nature of how beat makers would make their music in a general sense, it's one beat at a time in a general sense. And so what I did was I would create a beat utilizing however many pads that I would need, and then from there I would record those sections and then resample. So it's like sampling a sample, basically. And I would, you know, by managing that sound, I would map it out to, you know, to benefit me as far as like doing like live beat showcasing, for example. like this set, like how the nature of the set. This is the set that I rocked at the past Beetroot Grand Championships.